Welcome to Operation Saber. We have two B-52H Stratofortresses en route to Chalmon, France, northeast of Bastogne. They each have 51 500-kilogram bombs. Behind them, we have two A-10As with the goal of mopping up any hard targets that the B-52s were unable to destroy. They are currently lowering their height to around 12,000 feet, so a medium flight altitude. We are going to begin the targeting sequence, and identifying targets in Chalmon, France. We have a Navy SEAL team up here just directing fire and identifying targets for us. We're going to grab our B-52Hs, and we're going to begin the initial salvos. Let's open up our manual target. Let's identify a few hostile targets and ensure that we just pick one that's kind of in the middle of the objective. We're not going to do too much. We're going to say 25 on the initial target, and then we're going to select one kind of north of it, and we're going to say 25 or 26. The way the B-52s drop their ammunition is a bit interesting, and you're going to see that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to identify our second airframe, our second B-52, and we're going to begin identifying and dropping bombs as well. So we're going to drop 25 in this location, and then we're actually going to select a unit towards the back, this artillery piece, and we're going to drop 26 on it. So obviously all 102 of these munitions are not going to land directly onto this. They're free fall, unguided bombs. So let's resume. We're going to watch our B-52Hs approach the target. Our A-10As are a bit further behind, but that's what we want. We want our A-10As to identify targets that our B-52s missed. They're still descending to a lower altitude. They're going down to 12,000 feet, which is around a medium height, and we're dropping an absolute ton of ammunition. Let's make sure our flight course is correct and we're flying over the target. We also need to do this for A-10As as well to ensure that our bore sights are in the correct position for our Mavericks. Our B-52s are coming into range. Once they get these little circles over, they'll begin dropping munitions. My goal is to not completely make a line target, but to kind of disperse some of those bombs because we have this absolutely massive area in Chalmon, France to saturate. Once we finish this initial attack, we will do a battle damage assessment with an armored brigade, and we'll send a mechanized force into the town and clean up whatever remnants are left. We're going to continue this approach. We don't need to identify any targets for our A-10As quite yet, but we can speed them up a little bit. Let's get them going to around 300 knots. Both A-10As, once they're at 300 knots, and as you see, they are currently flying at 2,000 feet altitude. The reason why they're at 2,000 feet is because they have GBU-52s, I believe. Let's take a look. They have GBU-52s with bomblets, so little cluster munitions. They're going to drop on the target as well. This B-52 is a little off target. I'm not super thrilled about that. Let's see if we can get him to kind of correct himself a little bit. We're coming within contact. We're about to drop a bunch of munitions. We're going to speed these guys up. We should see the bombs start to free fall here in a moment. And then we'll speed these guys up after to conduct a short little air reconnaissance battle damage assessment. Once we finish that battle damage assessment, we can move into the ground operation and just clear out the rest of this village. So here we go. We're moving in. We're within range. Bombs away. Bombs away. All right, let's see what happens. We're going to watch those guys come in. We're going to plot these B-52s to get out of here. Grab the second one as well. We're going to plot his course out of here as well and send him on a route out. Here we go. Let's see what kind of damage we can do. Are they on target or are they off target? At 12,000 feet. That's a really good hit. All right, so basically we can send our oh my God, did we just smoke our Navy SEALs? A little bit of friendly fire there. That's way better than I've tested previously. All right, let's grab our A-10s. Our A-10s are going to start coming in hot, so let's begin our manual targets for them. So we do have this, we're going to designate 2 AGM Mavericks to that T-64 or T-72. We're also going to cluster these mechanized vehicles back here. We'll drop one there. We'll identify 2 more targets. Another one. Get this infantry in the back line. And then this unit in the back as well. All right, we're going to slow this A-10 down just a little bit. The reason for that is I want him to confirm whether or not this A-10 secures that tank kill. And if that A-10 does, then he can identify targets deeper in the back line, and he doesn't need to worry so much about... we have a lot of units kind of crossing the path right now. He can identify these BTRs towards the rear. All right, AGM's away. That's one AGM. Let's see if the AGM hits. Second AGM's out. All right, they're going for this T-72 right now. Miss. Oh, nope, hit. Miss. All right, T-72 still active. We're going to grab our second A-10 coming in. All right, we're going to say... And then we're going to put one bomblet on it as well because we don't want these tanks in our battle zone when we go into this operation. I think that's really important for us as well. We're going to try and hit everything within this area. And maybe get rid of this BTR as well. All right, bombs away. Bomblets are out. Let's see what we get. Good. All right, here comes our second AGM. 2 AGMs in flight. Let's route our A-10 out of here. All right, AGM's coming in hot. 1, 2 solid hits. So that's down to like 1, maybe 2 T-64, T-72s left. So they're still on the battlefield. All right, here come our free fall bombs. Bomblets, clusters. Let's see if we wipe this up. All right, a bit short, Interesting. All right, so let's go conduct our ground operation here next and conduct our battle damage assessment in the part 2. We'll see you in a moment. Welcome to Phase 2 of Operation Saber. The air campaign was considered a monumental success, and Soviet forces were seen routing from the objective area. It's now our turn to conduct a battle damage assessment. We're going to be sending in 2 M2 Bradley platoons and 1 platoon of M1 Abrams tanks. The remnants of the leftover Soviet forces are still present. There are destroyed vehicles, obstacles, barbed wire, and landmines. We must move swiftly and quickly to eliminate what's left. We've identified heavy machine gun teams, PT-76s, and a possible T-72 still operating in the area. While en route to Objective 1, Bradley 1-1 comes under heavy, direct, and accurate gunfire. Bradley 1-1 immediately begins scanning the terrain in an attempt to identify the hostile target. They identify an unknown tracked vehicle northeast of their position, just on the outskirts of Objective 2. They begin engaging it with their main guns and anti-tank guided missiles. The dual-purpose improved cluster munitions begin falling on Objective 1 and 2 in an attempt to suppress the tracked vehicle. The air campaign has destroyed several buildings, opening up perfect lines of sight onto the hillside. It's created a perfect storm, and Bradley 1-1 is currently caught in the middle, fighting for their lives. The situation continues to degrade for Bradley 1-1 as they come under heavy fire from a PT-76 located on the outskirts of the village. The M1 tank platoon is slowly catching up to the Bradleys, but they may not arrive in time. Bradley 1-1 is considered combat ineffective as all Bradleys are destroyed and the remnants of the scout teams are scattered across the map. The M1 tank platoon slowly creeps into the village where they come under heavy RPG fire just short of Objective 1. They do identify a few hostile grenade teams as well as a heavy weapons team as well, but they are no longer under accurate tank fire. In order for the next phase of combat operations to begin, I need to consolidate my forces at Objective 1. So this means I need to move Bradley 1-2 into position to reinforce the M1 tank platoon. The town has been basically reduced to rubble, so there's long lines of sight that I need to deal with. So I'm going to begin a heavy artillery campaign where I attempt to suppress the unidentified tracked vehicle. I'm also dropping tons of cluster munitions, high explosives, as well as smoke rounds to conceal and destroy any opposition that still lies in my path. The artillery campaign is extremely successful. Our M1 tank platoon is easily able to navigate the roadways under minimal hostile fire. They do come across a few RPG teams as well as several heavy weapons teams, but they do not sustain any casualties. And it looks like the tracked vehicle that was suppressing our Bradleys and tanks earlier has been routed or is currently moved out of its combat position. We're going to continue to saturate the area with smokes and high explosives in an attempt to drive the forces back and open up long lines of sight for ourselves. We want to use our thermal optics to target enemies and destroy anyone that is in our path. The urban operation is going quite well. Our forces continue to consolidate and push through the objective. The M1 tank platoon is currently at the front, followed by Bradley 1-2, who have not sustained any casualties at this time. Mortars continue to fall on the objective and on local hotspots in an attempt to destroy any leftover remnants of enemy fighters. At one point, they do identify the enemy T-64 from what it looks like, and they begin engaging it as well. It is quite the formidable opponent and survives several main gun rounds. With the T-64 destroyed, the M1 tank platoon and Bradley is able to move into the objective basically unobstructed. All hostiles or most of the hostiles have been eliminated, and the urban operation is complete. Bradley 1-2 unfortunately was destroyed during this operation, and there are lots of lessons to be learned, which we are going to discuss here in one moment. Overall, I was impressed with how the units performed, and I was impressed with the artillery campaign, but let's dive into that lessons learned. Let's dive into lessons learned. The air campaign really opened up a lot of secondary lines of sight, which allowed that T-64 to engage our Bradleys and basically destroy an entire platoon as well as one or two M1 tanks. The PT-76 was not that difficult to contend with, so for our next objective, we really need to take into consideration what's destroyed and what isn't destroyed. Also, I would change how I use the cluster munitions. I was a bit hesitant with them. I didn't want to saturate the area and basically destroy everyone there, so I would probably set a few secondary smokes and a few high explosives as well. Realistically, a smoke munition would have favored us much better just due to the nature of our thermal sights, and it possibly would have just saved a lot of our platoons as well. So we did not shape the battlefield as effectively as we could have, which is super duper unfortunate for Bradley 1-1. So I was not expecting that long line of sight from that T-64, and I wasn't expecting him to easily destroy an entire platoon of Bradleys either, especially after he came under heavy main gun fire as well as several TOW missiles. So I am interested to test a few of these weapon systems out to see how effective they are. Those Bradleys seem to be really underperforming with the TOWs. At the end of the day, it's a good little lesson learned, and I hope you enjoy this type of content, this Phase 1, Phase 2. If you enjoy it, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, join the channel, check out the Substack. It's all down below in the comments. And if anything interesting you want to see or ideas you want to see, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you like this format. It's a bit different. Peace.